lesson 5. This is about the primary and secondary research and what we can do in terms of investigating the teen tech idea. The learning intention for today is to understand how to evaluate a viable idea, but to use evidence to back up an idea, such as market research. So we need to explore market research, so that is knowing what primary research is, to be able to build your own primary research and to collate answers on your own survey and review the results alongside secondary research as well to decide whether you have a good idea. So the keywords are primary and secondary research, viable, which is it good, is it robust, evaluate, what's good and what's bad about it, survey, authenticity, is it genuine, and is it reliable. So our success criteria is being able to log into Office 365 and Microsoft Forms, that you have created a survey, that you have completed some secondary research, and you sent out your survey. The work list for lesson 5, there's 5 items on here. Some of them now have got some instructions, some visual instructions, which is why there's a few slides on this lesson, but no worries, it's just a step-by-step guide. So we need to look at the homework, the mind map, then we're going to complete the secondary research, the keywords and facts, which are in your booklet, and then the new one, which is primary research survey questions. We're going to use a bit of ICT skills in terms of Office 365 forms and emailing the survey, and because we're using Office 365, it nicely does the results for us. Hopefully you've done your homework, so you've got your mind map. With your mind map then you've got your idea all sorted and structured, and you've got detail in it, so you're able to discuss the idea. Now we've got to see whether your idea is viable, as in that there's people who are interested in your idea as who would possibly be your target customers. How are we going to find out if your idea is viable, you may ask? We're going to do that by doing some primary market research. Primary means you do it yourself, it's first-hand information. It's sometimes called field research as well, particularly if you're a geographer. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to do a survey, and that is actually part of some skills that you need in terms of finding information and presenting information when it comes to a job. Your first task is going to be secondary research. That's using the internet. Now, internet research is often seen as easy and fast, but there's quite a few things to consider. We've got authenticity, reliability, whether it's up to date, and whether it's relevant to your piece of work. So let's have a look at these questions. There's questions 1 to 4, and let's discuss what they mean in terms of deciding whether it's a good piece of information that you found using internet research, and ultimately it's number 4 that we've got to avoid. So let's see if we can work out what that one is. Click the Google logo, and that'll give you a worksheet on helping you how to do your Google search. Pick the research logo, and there's another worksheet here to help you go through and check how thorough your research is being, to help make things easy, to be honest. Of course, the question we need to ask now is, how do we knit the knowledge organiser from the last lesson and this teen tech, these mind map ideas that we're now moving forwards to? Well, let's just pause a second. Let's make sure we've clarified that little bit of knitting. So let's first take the knowledge organiser. The knowledge organiser is where you started your investigation into jobs and sectors of industry, particularly in our area. And now the teen tech categories. This is the national competition where you're actually going to choose a sector of industry to develop a product idea, and by developing your product idea you're going to find out more about the sector of industry because you've got to do some research. On page 12 of your booklet you've got your research sections to complete. Now you've got the coloured boxes, the peach, the blue, the yellow and the grey to use to guide you through how to do your market research. Now it starts off with, in the peach box, thinking about the keywords. Now the keywords are, go back to your mind map, go through and just highlight the absolute specific things that come from your idea and highlight them or underline them, so then you know which words you can put into the peach box. Then once you've completed the peach box, you then know what to go and put into your internet search. Now the blue box is some things that you found out, or perhaps this is where it really works. Your first things that you find out might lead you to think, oh, I never thought of that. So you've added to the words you want to find out, you've added to these secondary facts that you need to find out. That is the yellow box. And when you actually start using the yellow box, that's actually you doing your proper internet research, which is why it's a complete fallacy to say that internet research is super fast. It takes time. Then once you've done your blue and yellow box, you're then ready to write down the big facts, the absolute headline news that you found out to support your work for your idea and your product that you want to invent for teen tech. So your grey box is the ones that you're going to take forward to your presentation. Click on me, because I'm a worksheet that's going to help you with some search engine searches and some information about search engines to help with your search. So search for this. No, that's getting a bit silly now. Just click on the icon and it'll take you right there. Now you've selected a sector for your idea, you've done a bit of research. Let's share some of that research with your colleagues and peers in the room. Share the most unusual thing you can find about that sector. Write down your most unusual fact in your chat with my teacher and chat with my friend. After all, hopefully you've now had the chat with everyone in the class about the most unusual thing you found out about the sector for your idea. Here follows a step-by-step guide on how to create a survey using Office 365 forms. What you need to do is follow the frogs for the step-by-steps, and then you'll be fine getting into the school system to get to Office 365, which incidentally will be useful at home, and you can then get into it at school, and that's where you get the forms, and it will actually do your survey formatting for you. Click the Chrome button and then up will pop RM Unify. You've seen that a few times, and now let's actually find out what it's all about. RM Unify is the school system that you log into, and it gives you shortcuts to all the school software. You get at it through your school logon. So use your normal school network logon as your username and your normal school logon as your password. There you go, there's all the school software. You want that orange one in the middle called Office, so you click on that button. That's the first thing that you'll see, so you need to get rid of the orange box. If indeed it does pop up, you don't need it, so you can just click on the X to get rid of it, and then you'll see all the different software on the left hand side. In the top left of your screen you will see 9 dots. You need to click on the 9 dots, and that shows you all the regular Office software with the names. You need to cast your eyes halfway down to the orange word All Apps and the arrow. Click there so you can see Forms. Ta-da! You can see Forms now. Well, guess what? Press it. There's not much happening on this screen, so this is about just showing you the screen, and you need to press that button called Create a New Form. As you can see, it creates surveys, quizzes, and it does analyzes data in Excel. We're going to be using two tools, the surveys on the left and the analyze data on the right. Well, if you've got here, you press create a new form. So this is what you get next on point number 9. So you've got untitled form. It's best to give it a title, and the suggestion I give you is your idea, and I've come up with an idea just to demonstrate. It's called a singing service for dementia patients. It was on the news, so I thought it's a really nice thing that we can actually highlight. So I've gone singing for dementia, and it's part of Teen Tech, so that's my title. Now, once we've written the actual survey, you're going to be sending it electronically. The idea is perfectly formed in your head with your mind map and all your details, but not to the people receiving your survey. So we need a few lines here explaining what your idea is about, just so they can buy into and understand your concept before answering your questions. So here, it doesn't matter if you can get it across in 1 line or 2 lines, but you really need to make sure you explain what your idea is about in as few words as possible, but make sure, as I said, it's coherent. So a little bit of a challenge for you here. Well, now you're in, you've got the survey software, you've got a choice of questions, you've got multi-choice on the left, you've got free text questions, and you've got rating questions. Ratings are the ones where it's marks out of 5 and 5 is the top. What do you think? We're going to be using 2. We're going to use the choice and the rating questions for the purpose of this work. Here's a sample question. Now, for what I need to do, I have to appreciate that there are families who may or may not have grandparents, or are lucky enough to have great grandparents. I'm just pitching it somewhere, and I've got to acknowledge different family situations, so I'm aware of what questions I need to ask. So there's my first question, and I'm doing a closed question, so I want to make sure I've given the answers, and because I've chosen multiple choice, all questions are closed questions on multiple choice, and I'm only allowing a yes or no answer. So question 2, this is what an amazing multi-choice question looks like. So I haven't shown you how to write it. I've shown you that on question 1, and on question 2 I've given you a finished multi-choice. This is a rating question. We don't want our survey to be boring or tedious or monotonous. It keeps the same thing over and over again. So I mix up the style of questions between a multi-choice and a rating. So I've got a what do you think is the most important? This is still a closed question because I'm controlling the answers. Right, step number 15, you've written your questionnaires, your surveys, and we're looking between 5 and 8 questions. Go up to 10, but just for the sake of this work, we don't need any more than 10. And it's time to actually start getting some answers. So in the top right, you'll see the button share, click it, and then you'll get to see send and collect responses, and you want to choose the text underneath. Anyone with link can respond, so you're going to press that. And this is what you see, step 16. You'll see a window, an area pop up underneath it, where it's got the specific URL, the specific web address, which is the https forms.office and so forth. Don't worry about remembering that, you don't need to. You just need to press the copy button. Now we're holding our survey in copy, that specific website address. We're now going to send it via email to people we want to answers from. So off you go to the left hand side and find the 9 dots, you click it. This is what happens once you've clicked the 9 dots. You get to see all the Office software again, and we're going to click the top one, Outlook. This is the exciting moment. We're actually going to start writing the email. Point number 19, click on the blue new message button on the left. Step number 20, you're going to select 2 or 3 students because you can ask them in the classroom, or your parents if you know their email address. We're not contacting anybody or looking it up, it's about what you know. We're going to email people we know your survey. So I'll remind you your school email address, it's your first name, your surname. So if you're fred.blogs 6, that's what you write in there, and after that you have the @ sign, then LCT education. Step 21, you need to complete the word where it says add a subject. Subject in Outlook means the title. What's the title of your email? And we're all going to call it the same. We're going to call it Teen Tech Idea for step 21. Step 22, this is where you write your email, and there's some suggested text in the middle here of writing your email. If you would like to add more, I thoroughly recommend it, but we've got a bit of guidelines there. Step 23, you've done it. Hopefully you've got your email addresses 2 to 3, you've got your subject, you've got some professional text, so dear and the name, and then a sign off at the bottom, kind regards. So that's it, press send. If you want to check what your survey looks like when other people view it, then press preview. And when you're ready to view responses, to view results, obviously they're not instantaneous, a few minutes at least, or if you sent them to people not in the room, then give them a day or 2, then click responses. Here's a copy of the survey results that I've put into my slides, and that's what you're going to be doing. And if you look, I've got 3 of my questions. I've got the results. Question 1, I've said it's 67 responses of people who responded have grandparents. And if you want to know how I found out 67%, well, when I'm online, if I hover over the blue, then forms are really helpful and actually tells me the percent, so that's cool. So that gives me an idea of what to write for question 1 and 2. And in question 3, because I did a rating question, it averages out the score for me, which is why I know that it's 3.5 out of 5, depending on how. So 3.5 out of 5, which is how important singing is for dementia patients. So there we go, that's how we find out the results, and that's how we present the results. Number 1, click the Windows button on your keyboard. That's what it looks like. Number 2, select the scissors icon as highlighted at the top. Number 3, this new window will pop up and you need to press the new button. Number 4, your mouse will actually turn into that cross shape, which is exactly what needs to happen, and then with that cross shape you click and hold the click down and draw a square round the graph, which is there on the right, or for more fun I put some frogs on there, or you click and hold and draw a square around the image you want to snip a copy of. Your image might grey out a little when you're drawing your square around it. That's absolutely fine. That's exactly what needs to happen. You draw the square, and then as you click and hold down the mouse, and then you let go when you are ready and you have finished your outlining the shape that you want to snip a copy of. Number 6, you can switch back to the work that you're doing. Obviously we're now in PowerPoint, or if you're in Word, actually whatever software you're using, you switch back to it and you use the paste button. In PowerPoint you'll find it on the Home tab in the clipboard tile, and you press that button. This is the beauty of the Snip tool, it's already stored on your clipboard, so all you need to do is press paste. Number 7, voila, you've pressed the paste, and in step number 6, and there is your image pasted. If you want another one, repeat the process. Now it's time to keep up to date with your learning journey. If you go to the lorries, the skills lorries, now whilst you've not been looking at skills for specific jobs, you've actually been improving your own skills. So fill in the right lorry, please. We do like to keep super organised, so go to your work plan, go and find the Teen Tech section, and you need to tick off when it's completed. And if you've had a chat with your friend or your teacher specifically about your work, just jot down a few words to record the feedback that you've had on the work you're doing. Give yourself a pat on the back. Look at all the work that you've done. You have completed my map to lesson 5. Hopefully it's completed. You've done secondary research. You've done online primary research, and you've sent the survey to got other people involved and presented the results. Woohoo! Get you!